This week on Taste Utah, we're putting the focus on farming. We love highlighting delicious restaurants, and we think it's equally as important to learn about where that food comes from and the lengths our farmers and stewards of the land will go to keep us fed. We're due east of Park City in Wanship, and we're at Gracie's farm, where Lindsay Gammon took the reins and the responsibility of taking on an overused, tough-as-nails dirt patch and turned it over and over and over again until the soil became a perfectly balanced host to flora and fauna, including plants, pollinators, produce, and all types of beautiful living organisms that contribute in creating the sacred synergies and ecosystems that nourish our bodies as well as our hearts. Taste Utah is always bringing you local flavors from seeds to our authentically Utah restaurants. Behind every good food story is a great people story. It's our farmers, artisans, chefs, restaurateurs, and hospitality professionals that make Utah a dining destination. Food is a necessity, and it's how we cultivate it, share it, and experience it together that truly creates our unique community. You always have a seat at this table. Are you ready to taste Utah? We're up in Wanship, and we are visiting Gracie's farm. Gracie's farm works in partnership with Utah Restaurant, which we featured a couple seasons ago at the Lodge at Blue Sky. But they're also sourcing to tons of restaurants all over Summit County. We're also going to talk about the fresh flowers they're growing. We're going to talk about what it means to Broad Fork soil. We're going to meet Lindsay, and let's talk produce, shall we? Lindsay!
Hi!
How are you?
I'm great. It's good to see you, Katy.
Oh my gosh, it's so good to be here. This is beautiful.
Thank you.
How long has Gracie's been in operation?
So we have been in operation for 4 years, 3 seasons in production.
Okay, and have you always been here?
I've been here. I started this.
You started it.
I started
That is so cool. So
Yeah.
a couple of seasons ago, we were up at Utah talking with Chef Galen up there and exploring all of the cool things that were going on up at the lodge. And he was talking about the farm and talking about how it was just getting going. And now 2 seasons later, it's like completely abundant.
It's burgeoning. I mean, it's just blowing up. It's really exciting to see. You know, the first year was spent solely prepping the soil, so we didn't do any production, but then we started, our first season was actually the year that COVID hit. So we had a slower season, and then the last 2 years we've been really all force.
What brought you particularly to Gracie?
The owners were looking for somebody to start a farm for them, and I just kind of approached them with my ideas, and I ended up here. They've really given me, you know, the freedom to take it and grow with it.
Farming isn't like a job. It's not like 9 to 5 and you just show up and you do your job. It's like, it's a lifestyle.
It's my life.
Yeah. How long have you been farming?
So I've been farming since 2008.
Wow.
I started small in Salt Lake out of my backyard and kind of grew from there. Moved up to Park City in 2011, and so I've been farming here ever since.
I would say like you have more than a green thumb. It just sort of became like a passion for you.
Yeah, you know, I don't have formal training in farming. I didn't grow up farming, but my grandmother taught me to garden a long time ago, and I have family history in Italy, and she came from Italy and taught me kind of everything that I needed to know to start a garden in a high mountain climate.
Italy is just such a culture of paying homage to the land, loving the land. It's the lifeblood of their economy.
Yes.
It's Gracie's farm, so who's Gracie?
So Gracie is, actually the whole property is named after Gracie, the first horse that our owner Barb Phillips rescued, and it's associated with the Saving Gracie Foundation. So we share this property with them, and the whole farm is named after her.
Oh my gosh, and how many acres would you say this farm is?
So the farm itself is about 3 acres, and we farm on an acre of it.
And how many different plots would you say that is?
We grow on about 4 beds on our primary field out here that are 80 feet long, and they're only 30 inches wide. So we do a really intensive growing practice. And then we have another space where it's a little bit larger format, kind of raised bed farming.
It's so cool. And then you have a greenhouse and then a hoop house.
We have a greenhouse that runs year round, so we grow year round.
Okay.
Mostly microgreens in the winter, baby root vegetables and greens. And then our hoop house, we grow year round as well. It's just a little bit less protected, so we do hardier greens. They can handle a chill, so something like kale.
Okay.
That's more of a winter green. Collard greens are winter greens.
Okay.
That becomes our summer kind of hot season crop. The summer greens and the spring greens are kind of those lighter, more tender lettuces and baby greens that you see.
We have to give a plug to the eggs, because the eggs are
from
the
Saving Gracie's.
chickens over at Saving Gracie's, because your chickens are hard at work.
Yeah,
so.
and they're not there yet. They're relatively new, so they'll be producing eggs probably by the end of the summer. But
but for now they're doing their job.
They are doing their job for sure.
But when people buy the eggs in particular, it's a really cool gift.
Yeah, we give it back to the Saving Gracie Foundation. So any of the eggs that are sold here, those proceeds go back to the foundation.
It's so special, and that foundation helps rescue animals, care for the animals that are there. And it's interesting, when we talked to Barb when we were at Utah, she was like, the cows, they get huge. You're like, wow, I've never seen a cow that big, because they're just living out their full life. And like you said, all of the animals here are basically living their best lives. And then you get to contribute to that, which is really special.
Yeah, I feel very lucky.
I mean, the owners of the Lodge at Blue Sky, the Gracie's, Saving Gracie's Foundation, Gracie's Farm, Barb and Mike, they really are such special people, because it's like they're cultivating dreams, like they're growing dreams. And so like your dream is to have a farm and to be able to feed and nourish people. I'm excited to talk about this regenerative farming that you're doing.
Sure. When we started, the ground was rock hard. It had been overgrazed and overused with horses and cows, and so it was kind of a dead zone when we showed up. And so that first year was incredibly difficult in getting the soil ready. It took a really long time to broad fork a bed.
What are some of the things you did to prepare the soil?
So really the broad fork.
Yeah, just that.
The broad fork and adding compost.
Okay.
So what we believe in here is actually that the soil is first. So we want to give back more to the earth than we take from it. And so we don't do any mechanical tillage on the farm. We use the broad fork.
It's like this giant comb.
It's a heavy, big pitchfork that really just opens the soil. So what we want to do is encourage the microbial life and the bugs and the soil structure to be as healthy as possible. So tilling actually disturbs that and actually kills a lot of the microbial life within the soil. And it also disrupts the soil structure. So the constant tilling actually kind of tears apart those soil aggregates that actually hold nutrients and moisture and all the good things that we want for healthier, more tasty crops. So we really just believe in that the soil is what is going to give us the best tasting, healthiest, crop production, as well as giving back to the earth in all.
There's no major machinery. I mean, I'm seeing a ton of little utility is what it looks like.
Yeah. I mean, we use a bunch of tools that have been specifically designed for market gardens, they call them, which is, not at the level of an industrialized farm. So something that's really specific to farmers markets and small restaurants and things like that. So we have a bunch of tools that are specified for these 30-inch wide beds that we grow on to increase intensive production and to be really helpful for that.
We say it often again on the show is as a farmer, the first thing that you're actually growing is soil. And healthy microbiomes in the soil and creating an environment there.
The range of the produce that we grow here, we really try to be as diversified as we can in the short season that we do have up here in Park City.
What is that season, by the way?
Well, it's roughly 60 days from last frost to first frost. So we say it's from Father's Day to Labor Day, really. So that's incredibly short. But we are able to kind of extend that using our greenhouse and our hoop house and other, season extension techniques. But again, diversifying and adding more crops in and kind of, it increases the life in the soil once you add more crops and kind of again, diversify like I'm saying. But, the range of produce that we do, and nothing looks like it does perfectly in the store. So we've got some bug damage on certain things, and we've got things that are misshapen, and that really actually proves that we're actually out here working, and we use no pesticides. We're all organic. We go above and beyond organic standards, so we really do the regenerative thing.
What are you growing here?
So we, again, we try to be very conscious of the season. So we don't want to grow things that we are unable to grow in this short season. So we really try to focus in on our greens and our baby root vegetables, which, can grow in a very long, short season, but also we can extend that long season, so we can grow them from March through the end of October. But then we do some highlighting. We do some tomatoes because we have a hoop house, and we do squash. Garlic is one of our primary and favorite crops, and it was our first crop on the farm. So we plant that in October, and then we harvest it in July. So it's kind of a self-sustaining crop for us. We do, the peppers and the basil and radicchio and frisee and all sorts of specialty crops that really, the restaurants really appreciate. But we also grow kind of your staple crops that, the average farm stand person would really like.
You sell this beautiful array of produce at a farm stand on
Fridays.
From
4 to 6 p.m.
4 to 6 p.m. People can actually come up and purchase all of this.
Yes, absolutely. So we host a farm stand the middle of June we actually will, go through September with our farm stand. So we may have the first frost on Labor Day, but we'll continue to grow, throughout. Aside from the farm stand, we host farm tours on the property. So we'll do some specialized farm tours for people who want to learn more about what we do. We do kind of a flower making, a cut flower bouquet making tour, and a regenerative agriculture tour, because that's really the practice that we utilize on this farm, and letting people understand, what that means. And then we do a perennial flower, pollinator flower, and then medicinal farm tour. So again, we're just trying to get people engaged up here and get them connected with food and farming. And so we'll do those 3 tours. We do a farm school experience, which is a half a day with me, and they'll do kind of an abbreviated farm day, where we'll seed and transplant, and we'll harvest and do all sorts of fun things on the farm, giving people a little bit of a better idea of what we do. And then we also host farm dinners on the property. So we, do 8 farm dinners through the season, where we eat dinner in the garden, and it's cooked by our chef up at the lodge, and we feature our seasonal ingredients on the farm.
And then who else do you supply to?
So we do Hearth and Hill in Park City, as well as Tupelo. We do the Goldener Hirsch restaurant, and then here and there, so we'll just get some orders from High West or some other restaurants locally as well.
Yeah, which is so awesome. And if restaurants do want to get on your list of supplying, is that something that they're able to do?
Yeah, so I can send out what we have fresh on the farm, and they can just place an order with me.
I feel like we have to go. Take a farm tour.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, awesome. Where will we start?
We'll start in the hoop house, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go check out the tomatoes.
Let's do it.
Okay, cool.
Lindsay, this is your hoop house.
Yes, we do, in the summertime, we do mostly tomatoes, but we do basil, eggplant, and peppers. So our heat lovers all are in here. So this hoop house actually gives protection for all the crops that we grow. So even in the off season, in the fall and the spring, we are able to grow greens longer. But in the summer, we actually use this for our heat lovers, because the cool summer nights are actually what keeps tomatoes from ripening as fast as we would like. So we actually give them kind of a more consistent temperature all through the summer. So it's able to be a little bit warmer in here in the summer evenings, and we're able to get this kind of a growth from them.
Yeah, how tall are these plants?
This is probably 7.5, almost 8 feet.
Is that like the maximum height that you're looking for?
They'll go all the way to the wire up there, but we generally try to keep them a little bit lower, so we'll get more fruit set. So we'll actually cut these guys off pretty soon, so that they'll focus their energy in on ripening all the fruits that we have.
It's amazing. So when you talk about the growing season, you're not just talking about planting starters in the soil and letting it happen. You're growing year round. And the greenhouse allows you to do that, because it's this protective environment for the starters, which is literally you taking soil, and then some people don't use soil,
we do a soilless potting mix, actually. Yeah, and so we'll start all of our seeds in there, between late February all the way through the season. We keep transplanting and seeding in our greenhouse so that we can keep transplanting out. So really the farm season is all about planning, and then about, constant seeding, transplanting, harvesting. So we don't just plant once and then we're done. Yeah. We are constantly putting stuff in the field.
And then you also are starting to have bees on the farm.
Yes, we do have bees. So we have several hives of bees that actually do the majority of our work for us. They are responsible for pollinating everything on the farm. So we really value them. We let them be as much as possible.
You let them be? Yeah. No pun intended. I love it. Oh my gosh. Well, let's go see the rest of the farm. Let's go outside, should we?
So definitely.
Okay, let's do it. Lindsay, so we're out in what you affectionately call the heart and
Soil
field,
Yes.
because it is the heart and soul of any farm.
Yes.
This seems like it gets a fair amount of sun.
Yeah.
So what are you growing out in the whole field?
So this space is really our highly productive space. So this is where we focus on the quick transitioning crops like lettuces, baby greens, our carrots and baby root vegetables,
Okay.
anything that we're kind of going in and out of consistently all season long. So it's really like our workhorse field.
We see all of these little heads sticking out.
Yeah.
What are we growing?
So this is lettuce,
Okay.
and this is the base of our lettuce mix. So it's a head lettuce that we can actually cut and then come again. So it actually provides us several cuts of really beautiful leaf lettuce. And then we've also got some frisee and then radicchio in this space. Little gem lettuce, head lettuce, and then baby greens like arugula, baby red Russian kale, mizuna, and mustard greens.
Okay, what's hidden from view? Like I see that there are some things that are covered, and
Yeah.
number one, why are they covered, and what's underneath
Sure.
there? Is there a dirty secret?
Totally. Actually, for real, dirty. So these are actually, we use row cover in order to prevent bugs from getting in and eating the lettuces
Okay,
and
so
the greens.
this is all to protect them, but the cat can
And the cat
occasionally
can get in there.
Okay, cool.
Yep. She hunts the bugs that are in there.
Awesome.
But it also provides a little bit of cover from any early frost that we might get. It actually just protects those greens. So we grow the baby greens under cover all season long.
In this particular bed, you're growing.
In this bed specifically, we're doing the Parisian carrot, which is a round carrot. So it's kind of more of a gourmet carrot.
Oh, that's cute. So it's just kind of like a little round
It's
buddy.
like a tennis ball.
Ah, okay.
Or, I mean, a golf ball, maybe.
Golf ball,
Yeah.
but tennis ball if you're like
If you're getting it
cool.
too big. But I'm happy to show you what we
that's
can get
awesome.
out of the ground here.
So you have this
So
tool.
it's just a little fork, a digging fork we call it, and we'll just put it right on side of the carrots, and we'll loosen the ground a little bit.
Okay.
And then we take, and the cat's gonna help.
Yay!
And then we get these beautiful round.
If the cat
carrots.
wasn't so cute, we'd call him the scene spoiler.
Totally.
That's so cute.
So yeah,
Oh,
we get
these are so
beautiful
cute.
sweet carrots.
Oh my gosh, and do they just taste like regular carrots?
Yeah, just like regular carrots. Sometimes they can be a little sweeter just because we don't let them grow quite as big. So
Can I try one?
of course, I mean, you can wipe it. I can wipe it off for you. On my,
I mean, here's the thing. This is what I say often. I think people are just like, "Oh, you're so gross, Katie," but it's like,
no,
to
it's
me,
good. It's the dirt is good for your belly. Here,
well,
this one's actually
yeah.
good.
Okay, she's like, "Dig that one, Katie." I just feel like it's like salt and peppers, like
Yeah.
a little bit of flavor, right?
Sure. They're pretty good.
This is so
Sweet.
good.
Good.
It's sweet, but it's also, and I say this often, like, I invite and encourage people to come up to a farm and pull something off of a tree, with permission, of course. Pull something off of a tree. Pull something out of the soil, because just the amount of moisture content that is still in this vegetable
Yeah.
is
I
unbelievable.
know. And the dirt actually gives it even a little bit of a better flavor.
But it's just so different and unique, and I think the more that we expose our minds and our palates and our whole beings to everything that's out there and available to us, the more we can really appreciate it. I mean, you can only appreciate life to the level that you allow yourself to. So like, come up and taste a fresh carrot out of the ground, and you can do that.
Absolutely. We encourage it.
Lindsay, Three Sisters Garden, number one, why Three Sisters?
So a couple of reasons. So Three Sisters is named after, well, the women who run and own this farm.
Okay.
So we're all a team of all women who actually run the farm, and then the owner is a woman and her sisters, and the whole, it's just an homage to women.
How cool.
And then the other thing is that there was a band of pioneers that came through here, and it was there was a bar, a little saloon in Wanship, and there was a group of singers called the Sisters, and so we just figured that we would give them some credit as well.
This is where you're growing these, immaculate sunflowers. Sunflowers are literally they are my most favorite flower, and they're just so
lovely.
happy and beautiful.
They are. They're beautiful. And then the combination with all the rest of the flowers, I think it really just makes it pop.
What other flowers are you growing?
So we do a bunch of flowers out here. We do some perennial flowers, like the echinacea and things like that, but we also do mostly annuals with cosmos and sunflowers and amaranth. We do marigolds that are edible. We do bachelor's buttons that are edible. Borage flowers. We do poppies, zinnia. The gamut. Yeah.
And then down here is also where you do your farm dinners.
Yes. So we set up a table in the middle of these, flowers and the crops just along the creek, and host dinners, sometimes up to 100 people, and it's all lit up, and you sit among the flowers and it's just gorgeous.
Oh, it's so beautiful. And there's this breeze right now. You can hear the creek running, and the creek is just so gorgeous. It's just right over yonder. Such a special experience up here. What's one of your favorite things about farming or working up here?
Oh man, that's a tough one. You know, I honestly just love the connection with the earth. So, you know, getting my fingers dirty every day is part of why I do this. And then being a real example to my daughters of, you know, following your heart, doing what you believe in, and then giving something back. So really, you know, it's a joy to come to work every day. I would do it over and over, even on the hard days when I'm going home in tears because it's been a really hard one. I would still wake up the next day and come back, you know, over and over.
I think it's a misnomer in life that if you love what you do, it's not going to be hard. It like almost is like a mediating factor or mitigates it a little bit when it is hard. But of course what you love is going to be hard from time to time, and it's what keeps you coming back and invested.
And you learn something new every day. You know, I experience a failure every day.
I think that's one of the coolest things about farming and what I've learned over the years from amazing people like you. The soil tells you what it wants to grow.
Yeah.
You can be attached to whatever it is, the crop or the product is that you want to yield out of the soil.
Yeah.
And if the soil isn't conducive to growing that, it won't grow.
It's a no. You know, we do have to make those hard decisions sometimes. If a bed gets overrun with a certain weed, we just have to put that one to bed and start again, because it's just harder for us to deal with the weeds than it is to actually harvest the crop. You know, so we just call it and give it back to nature and move on.
The synergy that you're creating up here is so special, and I think the best thing is that you're inviting people to come up and experience it as well. So they can plan their summer to, I want to learn about this, and I want to experience a farm dinner, and I want to work on the farm, and all of those things.
Yeah. I mean, I encourage any of the local community to come up. I really believe in actually connecting our local community with this space as much as possible, and getting the appreciation that we are working together.
I guess what I'll say is it's just been a magical day, and thank you so much for all you're doing to feed our hearts, our souls, our bodies. We just appreciate you.
Well, thank you very much.